One of the great mysteries in the UFC at the moment is the state of the middleweight division. At the moment, we don't know what's happening with Robert Whittaker. We don't know if he's going to remain the interim champion, if he's going to become the official champion, what's going to happen with George St-Pierre's belt. One man who's very interested in all of this is Luke Rockhold, and he's kind enough to join us once again via the magic of Skype. That doesn't look like Luke. He is way better. There he is. Luke Rockhold. How are you?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, Luke. It's good to catch up. Where are you now? You're in Florida?
Yep.
Okay. We come to you for answers, Luke. I'm sure you heard now about George St-Pierre. You heard that he's sick. It appears he might be out for some time. Are you going to fight Robert Whittaker next? Are you going to get a shot at the belt?
Let's see. That's what I'm trying to clarify at the moment. That's been my issue all along. What's going on? Where's the clarity in the division? And I knew when this fight took place with Bisping and GSP that this was the case. You know, I mean, I thought he would potentially lose, yes, but I did say if he did win, we'd be in the situation where he wouldn't fight any of us, and then we'd just be more tangled up. And so the colitis, all these other issues, backtracking on so many levels, it's clear as day from his coaches, from him. He's not fighting. He's not fighting any of us. He's too small. Guys like me will feast on George. He won't last here. So he had his opportunity. He got his belt. Good for you. Just move along and let us handle our business here. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to fight something that makes sense. And right now, nothing makes sense until obviously Whittaker is the real champ and we move along, and I'm ready to fight him.
So you'd like to see them make Whittaker the official champion and just kind of move along, and George just, you know, that whole thing is in the past. That's what you'd like to see. That's what you think makes the most sense.
Look, I'm a realist, and if George were to stay, I mean, I'd be laughable. I'd be seeking the fight. I'm not going to seek the fight because I know it's not realistic. George won't fight me. He won't fight any of us. So do what's right. Whittaker's been the champ for a long time. He's been the real champ, like I've said. Make it official. Make it official, and let's move on.
Are you not buying this colitis story?
Come on. He's been backtracking from the start. I mean, his coaches said the weight gain was heavy. Well, what's the background of colitis exactly? He says it's from too much weight.
Well,
exactly.
That's a hypothesis. I mean, it's an intestinal issue, affects your colon, your stomach. I mean, it is pretty serious stuff. People who have had it, their lives have been altered as a result. Some even have to have surgery.
Yeah, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but I mean, the fact is he just come out and just say that you don't want to fight here in the division. You want to relinquish the title and move on. Stop. I'm tired of story after story and just dragging us on and then just, you know, leaving us in the dark. Just state what it is. I mean, if you're sick, you're sick. But the fact is that you don't want to fight in the division. I mean, he's done his thing. He's a legend. Whatever. Just move on. Let us move on. Let's fight.
Yeah,
I'm ready to fight when it makes sense. I'm busy in so many ways right now. I've got a lot of obligations, and for me to tear into my schedule, it's something's got to make sense. I love fighting. I want to fight, but I want, you know, there's principles in this game, and you know, there's got to be, you gotta have morals. I'm not just gonna fight fights to get nowhere.
Let me ask you this: the UFC, you know, Dana White came out with this news on Friday, so it's somewhat fresh. I'm wondering, have they come to you and said, okay, if GSP isn't available for Perth? I mean, Whittaker makes too much sense for Perth, right? I mean, you have an Australian champion, first ever Australian champion, and then you have an Australian pay-per-view, and it's coming up. The guy has to be on the card. I mean, I think it's ludicrous if he's not. Have they said to you, if this guy's not available, if GSP's not available, if he's not fighting on this date in February, you're the next guy? Has that conversation happened?
There's been talks all along the way, you know, about potential this, potential that. They got to make up backup plans, but you know, they're trying to make fights like Yoel Romero right now. Why would I fight Yoel Romero when there's no clear-cut person fighting Whittaker? Obviously, I want to fight for the title. If that's available, I'm not gonna fucking sign any fight. I want to fight for the title, and if that's available, that's what I'm gonna do. And Don't try to make me fight fights when you telling me what's a number one contender fight these days. Did George St-Pierre fight a number one contender fight? I don't think so. So I mean, there's no point in fighting guys when there's no structure. There's no rhyme or reason to who gets a title shot. I mean, Nate Diaz is my boy, but the fact that they were even negotiating Nate Diaz for a welterweight title shot, it's disrespectful to everybody in the fucking division. These guys we work our asses off to get where we are, and the fucking sport is pissing me off. It's losing its integrity, and it needs to get back to its roots.
Kelvin Gastelum fought a couple weeks ago. He was on the show the Monday after and kind of laid out his case as to why, if GSP isn't available, he deserves the title shot over you. He said he's been more active. He has wins over the likes of Vitor Belfort, Michael Bisping, who you fought recently. What do you make of Gastelum trying to campaign for that title shot over you?
Gastelum just got beat up pretty fucking bad by Weidman a few months ago. You want to talk about the inactivity? I tried to fight Anderson Silva in Rio in what was that, April or some shit. And then they pushed me on to Mousasi. Mousasi didn't make the fight. Then they moved on to this and that, and so I was ready to fight, and I will be ready to fight when it makes sense. And I'll keep up. I'll keep a pace, but it's just got to make sense.
I'm curious. I'll
tell you, it doesn't make sense.
Yes, please.
Kelvin Gastelum does not make sense.
You mean for the belt?
Weidman has more of a case than Gastelum.
Right. Weidman injured at the moment.
Guess what? Chris Weidman's 1-3 in his last 4 fights. So I'm 3-1. I've had one slip.
Do you realize that one slip created this whole problem? If Bisping never beat you, GSP probably doesn't come back. Do you realize that?
I put this on me. Put this on the UFC for allowing Bisping to get away with what he got away with for as long as he had. He should have fought. He should have fought Jacare first. He should have fought Yoel second. He avoided everybody. Now we're digging ourselves deeper, and I'm over it. I don't want to deal with it unless it's right.
You thought Bisping was going to beat GSP, right? You were surprised by that result.
I thought he was. I said that, that GSP could win the fight. And I did say that, even if he did, then we'd be stuck in this situation where he's not going to fight any of us. And that's where we are. Good on him. He won the fight. Congratulations. You're a 2-division champion.
Yes.
Relinquish the belt, move on, retire, do what you will. Let the real middleweights do their thing.
Were you surprised to see Bisping return after 2 weeks and fight Gastelum? And were you surprised to see him get knocked out by Gastelum? What did you think about all that?
I think that's fucking ridiculous. For Bisping to come back after getting knocked out 2 weeks before, and just because he's in China, for the commission to allow that. I mean, New York would never allow that in the States. And for his family, his friends, his team, whoever the fuck is in his corner, sad that he's got that kind of people around him to allow him to do something like that. You don't turn around after getting knocked out and fight 2 weeks later. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
He wants to fight. It seems like he wants to say goodbye in London. And I've seen a lot of people say, like, do the Rockhold fight again, 3rd fight in London. I don't want to see him fight in London in March, and I don't want to see him fight you. But what do you think about that? Is that something that you'd like? Is that the only thing that would make you happy other than a title shot?
I mean, come on. Of course, it'd be sweet to shut that guy's mouth. It never stops, no matter what the situation is. But it's not on my radar anymore. He's taken himself out of the conversation. I'm ready to move forward. I want to fight for the title.
Okay. And are you willing to go to Australia to fight Whittaker? Is that something that you'd be okay with? I mean, you had that great win over Bisping in Australia, so good memories. But what do you make of that?
Australia is like my second home.
Really?
I'll have my own fan base in Australia.
I didn't know. I didn't know you were big in Australia.
I love Australia. Is I'm always down for small Aussie time. Go out and visit the boys and get some surf. So I'd gladly walk onto Australian soil, and unfortunately, I might hurt a few of their feelings.
Are you okay with the fight being for the interim belt, or does it have to be for the real belt?
I don't think it should. I think it should definitely be clarified and make it the real belt. He's been the real champion for some time now. Just make it official.
By the way, can I ask you about being? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just how long can they drag this on for? I mean, it's been going on and on forever. I mean, you want to make another interim belt? Yeah, make another interim belt. I'll go fight UOL. Let's keep it going. If everyone's going to get tied up, let's keep these interim belts going. You know, you do that. Let's go. Me and UOL.
By the way, why do they want to do you versus Yoel? You're coming off the win. He's coming off the loss. Did you get any clarification on that? Why is that the fight that they seem to want to make so badly?
I can't understand what their thought process is these days. They obviously don't have a clear understanding of what they're doing. They're not following the recipe that built this company. I don't know, man. You got to invest in the fighters. Invest in the fighters, and no offense, but your investment is into Dana White. Dana White's not selling pay-per-views. Dana White looking for a fight. Dana White, contender series. Invest in the fighters, and it'll solve your problem. You'll hit your marks. You'll sell your pay-per-views. You'll do your thing. But get it straight.
You mentioned that you're in Florida. How are you dealing with this whole Volkan DC thing? Because you train in the same gym as Volkan these days. So are you a spy for DC out there? Are you helping Volkan prepare for DC? How are we getting around this?
I'm doing what I'm doing. I was out here training before Volkan even stepped foot in this area, in this gym. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to see. There's nothing to tell. Volkan doesn't want to. I'm not training with him, but it'll be just fine. The fight is going to be what it is going to be. I don't have anything to do with it.
So you never spar with him or anything like that?
Not of recent.
Okay, but you have.
I have, of course.
How'd that go?
Well,
has DC asked you to come back to San Jose to help?
With a lot of guys.
Sure.
I'm sparring with everybody. I sparred with Anthony Johnson a lot too.
Oh my gosh!
I sparred with Francis Ngannou.
You did?
Well, I go well with everybody. I have a good time with everyone.
You sparred Francis, and you live to tell about it.
Yeah. It was it was a fun little go we had.
Has DC asked you to come back to San Jose? You're one of his top training partners, right?
I get in with DC. I always have. He's got plenty of guys around. It's somewhat, we got such a brotherly rivalry. It's somewhat counterproductive that we train together.
Oh, really?
It's we tend to beat each other up like brothers, and so it's better off we just stay healthy and I like working with you. We work a lot of technique together and do different things, and I might come back for the Christmas season and work with him a bit. Khabib's obviously got his fight. He's another one of my brothers, so it's always I'll be there. I'll be there in their corner. I'll be there for their fights.
How do you decide?
I got business. I got to get in shape. I'm gonna be ready. Look, I got things to do out here, and I'm just gonna be in shape, be ready when the time comes. When they clear up the things, and I'll be ready to fight.
Are you training right now as if you're fighting in February?
I'm training hard. So
okay.
I've never been more diligent in my work as of late. There's great training. I've never been more motivated. I got good things out here, and I'm constantly on it. So
the way you speak about your rivalry with DC reminds me of DC and Justin Willis. I heard that they have a fierce rivalry. Can you clear that up for us? How bad is it in the gym between those two?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
Justin Willis, big win on Saturday.
Who? Big win. I didn't see it. I just saw the Hawaiians have a couple big wins. I don't know about anybody else.
Oh man, so you're on Team DC on this one.
Nothing worth talking about here.
I'm not trying to create a rift with AKA. I just, I think I can't imagine being a teammate with, DC is the captain, and then you have this other guy who's very brash as well, says he's on his level. They've got a rivalry, so I thought that you could be, a neutral, a neutral take on it all. But you've said enough.
I love DC, but he creates his own problems. I'd have to say.
Okay, all right. So to recap. No title shot offer just yet, but that's what you want, and that's the only thing you want, and you're waiting for it. Let's get on the phone. If it's not, clearly GSP can't fight in February. Let's make it happen. That's what you're saying. Stop beating around the bush. Stop delaying. The hell's taking so long?
Let's get the fans what they want. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, good luck getting that fight, Luke. Appreciate the time, and please keep us posted and let us know if we could do anything on this side of the table.
Always.
All right. Thank you. There he is, Luke Rockhold, standing by, waiting patiently, wants his fight, wants his title fight, and you have to admit, if it's not going to be GSP in February, who other than Luke Rockhold?